Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I'm live. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. Had some technical difficulties I had to take care of. I love my new camera setup, but sometimes there are technical difficulties, and I have to figure them out. Um, so today is the last, is it the last Tuesday in June? I think it is the last Tuesday in June. And next week, I am going to be away, and I will be away for a couple more weeks after that, too. I am going on the Stampin' Up incentive trip, and we are taking our son to Europe, to London. And so we are going a week ahead of time, and I am completely frazzled and disorganized, even though like I'm working through the things I have to do. But this week I am just like, I don't know if you ever get that way when you have a lot of things on your plate. And I'm a very detail oriented person, and it just drives me crazy that I can't take care of everything to the level of perfection that I want. And so this week I am just like at that point where I'm like just going crazy. So I will be gone for a couple weeks. There are some things coming up though in June I want to tell you about. So tomorrow there will be new things on the clearance rack. And one of the things they're putting on the clearance rack, which they don't do very often, is there are going to be some stamp sets on there. So if you want to take a look and see what's on there tomorrow, we're also next week we're going to be running a starter kit special. So that's going to be kind of exciting. They're running that for 2 months, and it's a nice starter kit special. And if you need to purchase a lot of things, why not get your things at a discount? So the starter kit is always a great deal, but next month it will be an even better deal. All right, I'm going to start off. Today is Casing Tuesday. It's the day we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And in the past, I kind of held up the catalog to show you. And today, think I have figured out how to upload photos so I can show you directly on the screen, which might make it a little bit more visible. But let's see if I can find. Oh, I might need to go into my into my other camera to show that. So just give me a second. Okay, so there is my card, but let me see if I can pull up this card. Oh, okay, there we go. So I hope you're seeing this on the camera. This is the card out of the catalog that we are copying today. It's on page 12 of the annual catalog. And it was a very beautiful card. It looks very Victorian to me with a little lace trim at the bottom. And we're using a product called let me make sure I get this right. It's called the Heirloom Frames Dies and 3D Embossing Folder. And I did use this one on my card as well, although I did use it in a different way. This one is a very Victorian looking card. My card ended up being a baby card. But it's beautiful, and I wanted to showcase that. Now, if you want to give this card a makeover, I'm just going to share with you. This is the layout of the card, and we have that posted. I have that posted on my blog, so you can use that as a guide for measurements if you have no idea how big to make everything. My measurements are going to be a little bit different because I turned my card on the horizontal. I did something a little bit different, but my measurements are also on my blog, so you can see both of those. All right, let me shut that down. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over here since I've got this camera facing down anyway. This is the card that I created for today. And I don't know why I did pink bunnies. I was just like in a pink bunny mood last night, and I kind of thought I wanted pink bunnies for the baby card to make it look like a baby card. And because I was using pinks and purples, and so it ended up being pink bunnies. You could do them in more natural colors as well, but that was just me last night. That's what I was thinking. The stamp set I used is called Wildly Happy. I like the stamp set a lot because you can use it as a baby stamp set, but it's also great for nature lovers. So, you don't necessarily just have to use it on a baby card. They just are very sweet animals, and they're just really, really cute. And they have nice little greetings to go with them. So how did I make this card? So I'm just going to show you, this is the Heirloom, let me get the name right again, Heirloom Frames Dies and 3D Embossing Folder. So it comes with 2 embossing folders and 2 dies. I'm using the rectangular ones today. And what you want to do to start off with is you want to cut your frame first. And I'm going to do that in Rococo Rose. Let's pull out my Big Shot. Now, right now we're in transition and we don't have a die cutting machine that we're selling right now, but I want to show you how to use this because I know many people have this set up. So I want to show you how I would do it on the Big Shot. But if you have your own die cutting machine, just use whatever die cutting machine that you have. I am using my Big Shot and magnetic platform. I've got one cutting plate down. I've got a piece of Rococo Rose. I cut it to fit the same size as the frame. And as I do with everything that's got like a very square like feature on the die, I put it through on the angle. So I'm putting through the corner first. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this through. And let me pop this off here. Okay. Okay, I'm still live. This morning is such a weird morning. I'm just like, if any of you are on here, can you just pop on in the comments and just let me know if you can hear me okay? Just say, hey, yeah, the audio is good, just so I know that you're actually hearing me. So here is the frame, and I'm going to get rid of my magnetic platform for now, and I'm going to bring in my just regular Big Shot platform, the base platform. And I'm going to be bringing in a new cutting plate that we have. It's to be used with our 3D embossing folders. When we have these new dies in the catalog, not the old ones, but the thick ones, the new ones are a little bit thinner than our old thick ones. So we needed to make up the difference. So you can either shim up your old cutting plate to make it to the correct height so that it will emboss, or you can get this cutting plate. It's not a cutting plate, it's an embossing plate, and this is now in the store. It's called the 3D embossing folder plate. So if you need that to help you with your new folders, just go ahead and order that. So I'm going to take this. What I did is I took a Sharpie and I traced the inside of this folder just so I could see for placement purposes a little better. After I did it with a black Sharpie, I ran it through with some scrap cardstock, so to pick up the excess ink on there. So now I can still see the line a little better because of the Sharpie. And then I'm just centering it on there, and then I'm going to close this. I'm going to need, I won't need another cutting plate because I've got it to the correct height. So I will want to put this on a bit of an angle to help it through. And then I'm just going to run it through like that. And there is your little frame. So that's how that one works. Because of the new thickness, we need that extra thick plate, but you could also just put in a couple of pieces of cardstock. You'll have to see, each machine is a little bit different, I've found. So you might need to use one cardstock piece, you might need to use 2 or 3. So you just need to get it to the correct height so that when it goes through that it will emboss. Okay, so I wanted to antique my frame a little bit and make it look not quite so pink, because when I have that on there, it just looks a little too pink, right? So, oh, and Amy says the audio is good. Awesome, great. Okay, and I've got my sponge dauber here, and I'm gonna use Seaside Spray. And I'm just going to daub off a little bit. And I'm just going to use little circular motions to antique my frame. And while I'm antiquing it, it's also bringing out some of the detail a little bit so you can see it better. So really you could use any color that made you happy to kind of antique your frame. I'm using Seaside Spray because it's in this paper here and in the background of my card base. So I thought by bringing that color in, it would tie everything in better. But if you're not sure of a color, I'd go with a neutral, like maybe Sahara Sand or Crumb Cake. And that would kind of give it more of a grungy type look, or maybe like a gray would also look nice. Purples and grays I find are very close in color. So this, if I did this in gray, it would probably have somewhat of a similar effect. So it's just nice to bring out that lovely detail of the frame. And it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, probably you don't want it to be perfect because it's like antiquing. So there is the little frame. And then I used dimensionals to attach this frame, but I'm going to use, these are adhesive strips. I'm going to use them instead to see if I can get that frame to lay a little flatter. So what I'll do, I'll take one of these off. And I'm going to take this, and I want to kind of, I think I want to keep it outer, inner. I'll keep it on the outer side. Trying to decide where's the best place to place this, but I'm going to keep it on the outer side, and then I'm going to run it along here. That, and then I'm going to run a piece over this way. I've got a spare piece to run over that way. So let's see how my frame does like that. Maybe I need to run it on the inside as well. What do you think? Let's be extra cautious and add more adhesive. My friend the other day, I think I told you about this, she created this card with these back dimensionals on it, and she's like, do you think I have enough dimensionals on there? And I thought she had like plenty of dimensionals on there, probably too much, but it just kind of depends how secure you want your card to be. But all right, that was pretty easy, and now we can add that to the card afterwards. So we're going to take this frame, and I'm going to make myself some little tick marks, which maybe I should have done first. I'm going to make myself some little lines so I know where to stamp the bunny. And I've got my bunny stamp right here, and my ink pad right here. Okay, so I'm going to just ink this up in Tuxedo, Memento Tuxedo Black. and stamp it right down there, just above the pencil line. And then I'm going to take this little stamp, little one, and just stamp it just a little bit above it to the top right of the image. Then I'm going to go back to my pink theme, and I'm going to use for the bigger bunny, I'm going to use the darker, and this is Rococo Light Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to use my brush tip and just slowly brush the ink onto my little bunny. I'll come back in a moment and darken some of the areas, but I'm just going to try and get a nice lay down of ink to start off with so it blends nicely together. And I'm just going to come a little bit on the top there, a little bit on the top there. And now I'm going to come back and just highlight with the same color the underside of the bunny, and maybe do a little shading under the bunny head and just a little bit on the top, bunny nose a little bit, and around the eye. And then, oh, I forgot one of his little pawsies. There. And then I'll take, this is Flirty Flamingo Light. Good morning to everyone who's here and joining me. And I'm just going to take this and just do the inside of the ear just so it appears a little lighter. Then I'm going to come and I'm going to hit the baby bunny with this other shade of pink just to provide a little contrast. Yes, pink bunnies today. I don't know. I was in a mood last night. So much going on and I can't process it all. I need more processing time than some people. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard sometimes. Like I just feel like really like blah today. I feel like I have like zero energy. And I don't know if it's the weather, we're about to get a thunderstorm, or if it's just because I'm like stressed out because I want to get everything done perfectly for the trip. And it's, it will all get done, but it's just like kind of stressing me out right now. Okay, so the way that I found that it's easiest to deal with this, I think I might have to do it right on the card first though, because let me get this card set up. Okay, this is my card case card base in Seaside Spray. It's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. And I'm just gonna fold this for a moment and use my bone folder to fold it in half. This piece of designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. It is the Woven Threads designer series paper. And okay, yeah, that's the right size. It looked like the wrong size for a moment. And my little thing is clogged. Let me find my declogger here. Just a paper clip that has been opened, and that just helps me declog my piece. And I will stick this on the front and just make sure it's centered. Okay, so I'm going to stick this little piece on here, and I want to like have this be centered. So what I'm going to do, okay, I think I've figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the inner, I don't know how to do this best. You know what? I'm just going to remove all of them because this is going to be a little bit different than the dimensionals. I can already feel like it's stiffer than when I used the dimensionals, because these foam strips are actually helping support the frame better than the dimensionals did. And I feel like when I stick this on there, it's not going to bow or do anything funny. You may have noticed on my card, there's a little bit of an imperfection. There's a little bit of a bow. When the paper was run through, I probably should have sprayed it with a little bit of water first, because that kind of helps the paper adapt better, and I didn't do that, and that's probably my first mistake. So I'm just going to kind of take this and just stick it down gently over my piece. Now some of my, oh no, I guess, yeah, maybe a little bit. This is sticking out out of the top right here, so I need to cut that off. I cut my little Whisper White piece a little bit smaller than my frame, but it was still not small enough, so I'm just going to cut off this extra piece so it doesn't show. So, okay, so I have a little bit of frame sticking out over here, but that's fine. I'm going to take glue and add it to here. And then any of that overhanging frame can also help hold it to the card. But I feel like it's a lot more supported than with dimensionals. So maybe keep that in mind if you're building a card with this frame. The other thing I like about it a little better, are you sticking in place? The other thing I like about it a little better is that these strips are a little higher. I don't know if I can show that on the camera, but this hand that I'm shaking up and down is a little bit higher than the dimensionals, so it gives a little bit more of a frame effect than this one right here. So if you want your frame to be a bit more prominent, then I would use the, I need to find the exact name for that because I've been calling it something random, but I know it has an exact name, and I didn't put that on my supply list. They're called foam adhesive strips, and they're on page 183 in the catalog. So if you want it to stand up a little taller, then you'll want to use the foam adhesive strips anyway, because it will give you a better frame. So there is my card for today. I will not be here. Let me turn it back to me. Hey. So I will not be here for the next couple of weeks because I will be away on the incentive trip, and we're taking our son to London because that's where he chose as his graduation gift, and we're going to explore London, and then we're going to go on the incentive trip. And hopefully when I come back, I'm going to be refreshed, and my brain will have unplugged a little bit, and I won't have this trip coming up. I will have my son's pending start to college coming up, so that's kind of weighing on my mind as well, like getting organized for that. And I know some of you would be like, well, that's his thing, but he's my only one, and I'm getting all wrapped up in that, and I just kind of want him to have like a good send-off, because he's gonna be up in Canada, so he's not gonna be like just it's not like a short drive away, so it's not like he can come home on the weekends. He's not gonna be home on the weekends. He probably won't be home till Christmas. No, I know he's not going to be home for Christmas unless there's something weird going on and he does come home. So anyway, now I'm just blabbing. But so I will be back here. Let me see. I'm going to be back on July 16th will be my next Facebook Live. So that's actually 3 weeks, isn't it? I can't even do the math. Yeah, it's 3 weeks because I'm going to miss 2 weeks, and then I'll be back in 3 weeks. So I hope you guys are having a great summer. Let me know. I'm going to post a thread on my Be Stamping with QB group, and you can tell me what you guys are going to do for the summer. I'd love to hear what you have planned. And even if it's just a staycation, let me know what you're up to this summer. Okay, I'm just looking to see if there's any other any other things that I need to address? Thank you for those of you who posted to enjoy the cruise. I initially started earning the trips so I could take my husband and son on trips because they love to travel so much. So I felt like it was like one thing that I could do for them that would enhance their life. And I'm very practical when it comes to money, and taking a trip can be really, really expensive. So to be able to have part of the trip paid, because it's a trip for two, and be able to buy in a third person makes traveling so much more affordable for us. And we've been able to go see some things that I don't think I would have could have done, like afforded. Like we went, the first trip was the Mediterranean cruise. It was our son's first time going to Europe. We went to Thailand, and it was my son's first time in Asia, and it was my first time in Asia as well. I never would have gone to Thailand on my own. And then the Alaska cruise was just phenomenal. It was so neat to see that kind of beauty just right here on our continent. And now we're back to Europe, and it was just so much more affordable to do it. So, you know, I thank you to all my followers and supporters for and customers and downline for helping me earn the trips each year, because they truly are a wonderful experience for our family. And this last trip will be a little bittersweet. I think it will be the last trip our son can go on for a very long time, because he will be, I think I mentioned before, he's studying engineering, and it's very intensive, and he's also doing co-op. So after the first 8 months, he will be alternating 4 months school, 4 months work term, and he'll only have like a little time off in between each term. So, and the incentive trip is a very specific time, and it's right now it's never at the end of a term, so I don't think he'll be able to come with us. But my husband and I will continue on. My husband also loves to travel, and he works really, really hard. So it kind of feels good to be able to take him on vacation someplace cool, and so it's just a wonderful thing. So thank you to everyone for that. Thank you everyone for all your well wishes for the trip. I will see you guys back here in 3 weeks, and I hope I'll have my like happy hat on, and I won't be like my like stressed out self today. I felt like I was a little flat with my video. So if this is the first time you're watching me, just know that that's probably not my usual self. Okay guys, I hope you have a great summer, and we'll see you back here in about 3 weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.